What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a huge pressure on Triple H, SmackDown is in major trouble, huge WWE returns incoming, have WWE dropped the ball, has Cody Rhodes already turned heel, Netflix censors WWE again, this won't be happening this weekend, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on our new Facebook page. Now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, first story looks at huge pressure on Triple H. Now, top story today looks at a new report relating to the creative team in WWE, and it's not exactly positive. This week was a very rough week for the WWE creative team, as Raw flopped massively, with the show receiving one of the lowest cage match scores in the show's history, and one specific segment received universal backlash from fans. Of course, this is not just any Raw, it was the go-home show to SummerSlam, WWE's second biggest show of the year. Now, according to a new report from WrestleVotes Radio, WWE's creative department are feeling the pressure, and it turns out that Netflix executives were in attendance for Raw. Coming out of Monday Night Raw, WrestleVotes Radio is told that a number of people within WWE's creative departments are under pressure this week. Sources say that the show carried an added importance internally due to its location, as several Netflix executives were in attendance, making it somewhat of a home game for the streaming giant. The fact that WWE felt comfortable presenting such a shit show to Netflix execs is very alarming. It'll be interesting to see if there's any subsequent backlash from these execs in attendance. I mean, I'm sure they were thrilled with Ryan Garcia joining the Judgment Day in one of the worst segments ever. The report also noted that the opening segment between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar wasn't a good look, as the segment featured an array of botches. One source pointed out to the show's opening segment as not a good look, citing microphone issues and the botch fall from Gray Spot. Thankfully, there is some self-awareness when it comes to the now infamous Danhausen and Joe Hendry segment. According to the report, it's a common consensus backstage that the segment missed the mark, and it's been questioned why Ryan Garcia was even involved in this. WrestleVotes Radio was also told that Danhausen Joe Hendry segment was said to have missed the mark, as Ryan Garcia's appearance was considered to be underwhelming and unnecessary given his recent controversies. Now, if you don't know what those recent controversies are, well, you just have to look at Ryan Garcia's history. I mean, you'd think those tweets were fake, but they're 100% real. And it's not just a one-off, there are multiple tweets. Now, a lot of creative calls from Raw just made no sense whatsoever. Logic would suggest that WWE would go all out for a show if they knew that Netflix execs were gonna be there. Yet it was almost as if they didn't care and purposely presented one of the worst shows of the TKO era. What's sure is that Raw was truly a major miss for WWE this week. Hopefully the plan is for them to bounce back with a strong addition of SmackDown tonight, plus an epic two-night SummerSlam showcase over the weekend. But we now have an exclusive quote from Triple H, who mentioned, "It's what we do." Next up, SmackDown is in major trouble. And tonight SmackDown is looking to flop in a major way. According to numerous sources, including The Observer, the show tonight has only sold just over 4,300 tickets, which is a frighteningly low number. Tonight's episode of WWE SmackDown takes place from the Resch Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin. According to the latest update from WrestleTix, 4,343 tickets have been distributed for the event, which is up 47 since the last update from 7 days ago. 47 tickets in 7 days? Now, for some context, the last time WWE ran the building was an episode of Raw in June of 2025, which saw, well, a little bit better of 6,522 tickets distributed overall. Is this proof that WWE is now slowly losing its audience? We've seen this firsthand with low SummerSlam ticket sales this year, and now it's getting even worse with go-home shows literally only getting about 4,000 plus tickets. WWE really need to get their shit together right now, and they might do that with some huge WWE returns incoming, as WWE may be about to get two former world champions back on their active roster. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are both expected to be returning very soon. Orton and Owens are both expected to be returning very soon, Orton perhaps in the next week. Owens has dropped weight after a lengthy and frustratingly long recovery from neck surgery. Now, this is absolutely awesome news and we can't wait for them to get back. But Meltzer also added that Orton was supposed to win the WWE title before an injury changed the creative plans. Orton was one of those guys who claimed he wasn't injured and just taken the summer off, but in fact, he was injured. he was actually scheduled to beat Rhodes at Mania unless they felt his back was not going to allow it. When they realized that was the case, all kinds of plans were changed. Now, it's also being speculated by The Observer that Orton could be returning as early as tomorrow night at SummerSlam, which would be a huge return. Next up, has WWE dropped the ball? The WWE's booking of Dominic Mysterio has been a really hot topic on social media as of late, and there's no denying that his booking has been downright awful since he wrestled John Cena on a PLE last year, the last PLE that John Cena ever wrestled on. But this hasn't been just called out by the fans, as former WWE name Jonathan Coachman called out WWE on his podcast for outright dropping the ball with Dirty Dom.
9 months ago, he got to wrestle John Cena twice on the go-home tour. That's how big this guy was.
More than anybody in his retirement tour.
Period. And that's what you're doing to this guy. And if they're not doing this on purpose, then it might be the worst creative that I've ever seen for a guy who was over. And then for those fans who always want to go back to the money with Danhausen, he's selling 50 different things. Well, guess what? If you keep shoving him down our throats like this, in 4 months, in 6 months, he will not be doing that because it's going to be overkill.
Mysterio is now set to collide with Danhausen in a human money's on a pole match at SummerSlam, and this has been compared to a WCW-style matchup, with fans even joking that Vince Russo is back in the creative team. Next up, a SummerSlam match, a retirement match? And Nick Aldis hasn't ruled out wrestling again after SummerSlam, however, Gunther may have other ideas. During an interview with Complex, the former world champion outright stated that he will be retiring Aldis once again this weekend. "I'm on the peak of my career. His career is basically over. I guess it rejuvenates now, but it will be over at SummerSlam again. What other thing should I aim for than beating him? I don't see what he can do in a loss that convinces everybody else that he should keep wrestling." This means that it's unofficially a retirement match for Nick Aldis, and he could be one of the first names in WWE history to retire in his debut match for the company. Next up, has Cody Rhodes already turned heel? Now, what was all that about? As ahead of SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes appeared to embrace a darker side after attacking CM Punk during a backstage confrontation, leading many fans to believe that Cody Rhodes has already turned heel. The incident followed weeks of growing tension between Punk and Rhodes, whose friendship has steadily broken down as they prepare to face each other for the Undisputed Championship at SummerSlam this weekend. Cody confronted Punk over an early incident in which Punk accidentally struck him with the championship belt during a celebration. Although Punk insisted it was unintentional, Cody remained unconvinced, and the discussion quickly escalated into a heated argument. During a live event though, there was a heated confrontation in the ring after the match, and weirdly, Cody elbowed Punk, and it was almost definitely on purpose, as there's no way you would throw your elbow like that in such a way. Punk definitely knew something was up, and a brawl was almost going to happen between the two before their match. Obviously, this has added another layer of intrigue as to who is going to be turning heel during their match at SummerSlam. Right now, does it seem way too obvious that it's going to be Cody Rhodes and WWE is going to swerve us big by having nobody turn heel, or maybe CM Punk turning heel? What do you guys think? Next up, a legend invited to SummerSlam. Jesse the Body Ventura has been invited to SummerSlam this weekend. According to WrestleVotes Radio, Ventura, who was a key part of SummerSlam 99, has been invited and has been offered a role on television. Sources tell WrestleVotes Radio that WWE has extended an invitation to Hall of Famer Jesse Ventura to be in attendance at SummerSlam in Minneapolis. We're told that the idea of using Ventura on television, most likely in a pre-show role, has been discussed internally. However, as of now, it's unclear whether Ventura will appear on screen or not. This would be great, especially after Ventura really does call it right down the line, as we saw at Saturday night's main event. That guy did not hold back at all. Next up, has a heel turn been cancelled in WWE? One of the main talking points ahead of SummerSlam this weekend relates to Solo Sikoa. Sikoa has been one of the highlights of WWE programming, and there's a major urge from fans to keep Sikoa in the role of a babyface. Unfortunately, there were rumors that Sikoa's actions were a total swerve, and he was then going to rejoin the bloodline at SummerSlam this weekend. This is seen as a major disappointment, as Sikoa is natural in the role, and to revert him back to a menacing bad guy who doesn't talk makes zero sense. The positive news is that WrestleVotes Radio are now reporting that Sikoa has received praise backstage for his recent work. WrestleVotes Radio has spoken with a source within WWE Creative that had significant praise for the recent work of Solo Sikoa. The source pointed out to the natural charisma that Sikoa has displayed backstage for years. It was also added that Sikoa is known as one of the funniest names backstage in WWE, and we firmly believe that. One talent even said that Sikoa is one of the funniest superstars behind the scenes. That same name said that they're thrilled that he's finally getting a chance to show off his personality on television. When it comes to a potential swerve and heel turn, WrestleVotes Radio did confirm that the babyface run was supposed to be a short-term deal, but this is potentially going to be reconsidered due to how over he's become in recent weeks. WrestleVotes Radio is also told that Sikoa's current babyface run was originally expected to be a short-term deal. Now there's speculation internally that those plans could be reconsidered based on how well he's been received in recent weeks. Now this is welcome news, as would be one of the biggest booking mishaps at 2026 if Sikoa then turns heel this weekend at SummerSlam and returns to like that generic enforcer that he was at the beginning of the Bloodline story. Next up, it's not happening this weekend. Now whilst there's been no mention whatsoever of Brock Lesnar retiring at SummerSlam on television, Triple H opened the rumor mill yesterday by stating that Lesnar could decide to call it a day at SummerSlam. Due to the affection Lesnar has for working with Obafemi, this has led to speculation that Lesnar may in fact call it a day this weekend. But now, according to WrestleVotes Radio, the current feeling backstage in WWE is that Lesnar vs Femi will not be Lesnar's final ever match in WWE. Sources have told WrestleVotes Radio that the feeling within WWE is that the Hell in a Cell match against Obafemi at SummerSlam is not expected to be the final match of Brock Lesnar's career. One source said that they'd be surprised if Lesnar didn't step away from television for a while before resurfacing in time for WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. The report did actually give credence to comments made by Triple H, as it's noted that if it's going to be Lesnar's final match, then it won't be widely known backstage. Lesnar's always operated in a way that prevents his plans from leaking, so if this does end up being his final match, it certainly is not something that is widely known or being discussed backstage. Lesnar's final match being this weekend definitely makes sense. Yeah, from a business perspective, this is a match that WWE will want to market heavily. If Lesnar does retire this weekend, then all eyeballs will be on WrestleMania next year in Saudi Arabia, so it'll be interesting to see who he could face on the grandest stage of them all. Next up, Netflix censored WWE again. Yet again, Netflix has censored Raw. This week on the show, Brock Lesnar flipped off Obafemi. Naturally, on the replay of the show, Netflix has censored this by showing a different shot completely. Still unclear why Netflix is doing this, yet it's becoming an ongoing trend, and these censorships are a weekly occurrence. It is baffling, as didn't Triple H once say that once they're on Netflix, they won't have any censorship issues? Now they're just outright censoring everything, even a middle finger. Can you imagine the Attitude Era on Netflix? It'd be dead. Next up, an iconic team signs with AEW. The Motor City Machine Guns are now All Elite. In a shocking debut, the iconic tag team appeared on AEW television last night, and it was subsequently confirmed that they had signed with the promotion. WWE letting the team go was one of the most questionable calls in recent times, especially with it being reported that WWE were looking to rebuild their tag division and then outright released one of their tag teams. And finally, confusion over the Usos continues. Our final story today looks at the WWE status of the Usos, as there continues to be mass confusion whether the legendary duo are babyfaces or heels. According to the reports, the Usos are supposed to be heels on WWE TV right now. This is confusing as they interact positively with the crowd and they don't seem to act like heels in any way, other than the fact that they are feuding with babyfaces. In the latest twist of this saga, it turns out that the duo are now working as complete babyfaces on WWE's live event circuit. Last night at a WWE live event in Springfield, the duo wrestled a Vision for the World Tag Team titles. Naturally, this isn't helping the crowd dynamics, as nobody has a clue if they're supposed to be cheering for them when it comes to their feuds on television. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.